Okay, what happened there was the person who was calling me on my house phone called me on my cell phone, and I forgot to put on the do not disturb, so it automatically shut off the recording that we were doing. So so this is what I did when I was on the phone with that person, was I did the fussy cutting out of this, change this a little bit. Now, what I want to do here is, I think maybe put it on this blue page. I'm not going to cut out, you can if you want to cut out the negative spaces here. It's kind of a small area to get the scissors into, so I think I'm going to leave that as it is and just put this here, and I'm going to adhere this with, once again, the art glitter glue. Now let's put this all around the edges here, and this stem of this flower is already showing up to be a weak spot. Whoops. I usually put something underneath when I'm doing this. And here's another stem. So, go all along the edge here, and then just squiggle it around the inside. So that. Obviously I'm gluing it all down because that stem is a weak spot. Remember before I was talking about perhaps not gluing it all down and using that to layer or tuck things under, but I think I'm going to do that just like that. There we go. Make sure that's all down. It's already lumpy from the belly band that we put in. Rub that around. Go back into the edges. Make sure. And that's just a magnet I put there to hold the pin so I don't lose it. Let's get this corner as well, because I see it's sticking up just a little here. There we go. There. I didn't use glue stick on that because I honestly didn't think the glue stick would hold. The art glitter glue, oh, see it's pulling up there. The art glitter glue is a much stronger hold, and this is thick. Remember it's on the back of a manila file folder, so that's cardstock thickness. There, and now we have a bouquet of tulips in the middle of our book. How lovely is that? All right. So we have here, we have the belly band, and we're going to figure out how else we want to decorate this page. What we might want to do is we could do isn't that pretty? I don't know what kind of flowers they are. They're the ones that bloom upside down. I usually see them in pink. Those are purple. I'm pretty sure that's although this one is growing up. Actually, I don't know what kind of flower it is, but it looks to me like the ones that go upside down. I have napkins like that as well. See, these that grow upside down. Oh no, I guess they're not the same. I love them, so pretty. Okay, so we can use this to make some tags with. But we'll get back to that, to zhuzh that up a little bit. Okay, see, this is already dry. If I had done the fray check, this would still be wet. Free check takes a while to dry, but using the fabric, the 3-in-1, and just to glue those edges together to seal them. The washi tape petals. Okay, where is it? We put it on the back of the blue one. There we go. Oh, and this is a page that has patches on it. Look at that. So there's that, and we can decorate this as well with words, you know, the little sayings like these. Cultivate kindness. Well, that's a cute one to use considering it's flowers and we're talking and growing. We could put that one there. Cultivate kindness. There we go. Oh, I'm trying not to say that expression. That's one of my expressions, and I'm trying not to say it because I say it all the time. Cultivate kindness. Peel that off. There, cultivate kindness. Now, something else I would like to do is, oh, and here's the center. We have to figure out what we want to do with that too. More tags, maybe put in, and that's what we can do with this perhaps, is make just a tiny little insert notepad. That's a very good idea. Make an insert notepad. So we can, let's see, there, hydrangeas. This is pulling up on the edge there. Oh, there's. So if we cut this down, let's put this aside. Let me cut this, trim this off a bit. There. Even out that edge. Okay. Smooth out that edge. And trim it down some more. Why don't we just cut it right there where that fold is, because it's a file folder and it has the fold in it. And I think that's pretty much where I place the center of the... This is a Fiskars cutter, and with the Fiskars cutter, it has a wire. How it cuts, it's different than my other cutter I have, is it has this wire here placed right down the center here, and when you press down on this, you're pressing into the wire, and there is a little blade there. I guess the wire is just the guide so you can see where the cut's gonna be, but it's in this piece. The other cutter I have is a Love Nicole cutter, and it's a cutter, but it's also a score pad, a scorer. It has the cutting thing, but it also has one where you can score it. This obviously you would not be able to score it going down there because it has that wire in the middle. Oops. Oh, that's how good that cling wrap works. Didn't want to release. And this has a lock right here to keep it from popping up. And I always forget if it's locked or unlocked. And why am I doing that? Because I still need to make some cuts. I want to trim that edge a little bit more. It's a little bit rough. Let me see the... It's a good width. Good height. Let me trim the side edge first. I want to make sure this is going to be all nice and square. There, go back and forth. Okay, here. Let's try that again. There we go. And I did it again. Now, this is going to be a rather big little book I'm putting in here. it's open all the way to the bottom. That's okay. It measures 5 inches. 5 inches by however 8.5 or so. This is, I don't know if this is square or not. That doesn't look square to me. Hold on. It's not. Okay. And this measures over 5 inches. So I want to trim off some on the side here, just a little bit, maybe about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch or so. There. Take these away. And, oh, I'm going to want to cover the inside of that. Look at that. I was going to say fold it in half to make the cover of the little mini journal that we're going to take away. It's not squared off there. It's crooked. It's crooked. Let's see if it's straight now. Get that out of the way. I'm going to have to cover that up with something or not. Leave it as is. Okay. What I can cover that up with is just a white label. Or I can just use the other side. Hold on. There's 2 ways to skin this cat. Just use this one. Figure out what to do with that one at a future date. Okay. Let's use this one. That way I don't have to worry about covering anything up on the inside. I'm going to cut along that expanded fold line there. Actually, I'm going to move it over a little bit. From that's already there in the folder. And I'm going back and forth to make sure that I'm cutting all the way through. Okay, I know that edge is straight. Now, let me straighten out the rest of the edges. That edge is straight, so let's go down with this one then. Just kind of square it all off. This is pulling away some here. Although I could re-iron it if I wanted to, but I'm just going to put it down there to square that off. Okay, this does not look as big as the other one did, but that's okay. So I'm going to fold this in half, make sure they meet there. There we go. Open it back up, and this measures just over 10 inches. I'd say 10 1/8, if even that, by 5.5. So I want to cut down some paper that is 10 by 5.5. 10 by 5.5. I'm just double checking here. Yes, 10 by 5.5. And I will probably sew it down using the sewing machine. Sew it down using the sewing machine. So the paper we're going to use, I will reach over here, and for this I will use this. One side is graph paper, the other side is lined paper. Now, hold on just a cotton picking minute. If I use the lined paper, because the lines are going that way, it's not as wide. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Otherwise, the lines would be going up and down, and I don't want the lines to go up and down unless we make it that kind of book, a flip book that way. Then the lines would be going across this way. Well, that's something to consider, isn't it? Or I can just use plain white copy paper and not use this paper at all. Pull out some plain white copy paper. This is just an added little extra. We don't need to make it anything extra big and extra special. Basically what I'm doing here is, if you go to the quick and easy, no, easy peasy, my easy peasy, using a making a little booklet out of a greeting card. That's basically what I'm doing here. Of course, I also have cards in here that I can make one out of as well. But that's what I'm doing here. So I said, of course, I already forgot, 10 by 5.5, and this is 8.5 by 11 paper. I have a bit of a stack here, but let's see. 8.5 by 11, and I said 10. It's 11 this way, so I need to cut off an inch this way. Let's see if it'll go through that stack. I think it did. And then this is 8.5, and I said I need 5.5, so I need to cut off 3 inches this way. Line it up on my 3-inch mark. And go back and forth a couple times, and this should put those in my scraps. This should measure the same, and it does. And what I will do is I will take it to the machine and sew that down, and watch when I fold it. The papers. Okay, so that is what we're going to do with this. But I will do that off camera as well. So that is it for this installment of our Fabric Collage Junk Journal. Thanks for stopping by.